What is up, guys? Rickackis here, and this is the guide to the Reaver, a multiplayer character in Dragon Age Inquisition. So this was the first character I unlocked simply because it could use two-handed weapons, and my first purple weapon was a two-handed maul. So I was like, you know what, I just have to be able to use this weapon. I'm gonna pick the Reaver, and I actually ended up really falling in love with the Reaver. It is definitely one of, if not my favorite character right now. Now, the reason the Reaver is so good, in my opinion, is because it has a huge damage output potential, and also it heals itself. That's just so important, being able to have skills that heal yourself in combat. If you don't have a skill or a ring or something that can actually heal your character, you're at a huge disadvantage. Your starting skills of Devour and Mighty Blow are extremely useful. Devour is going to be doing very good damage depending on how much health you've lost. Even if you haven't lost any health, it does pretty decent damage, and it heals you for like 0.01% of each 1% of health lost. It's not the best healing skill, however, when you're about 1/3 health and you use this skill, you'll actually go back up to about half health, and that is nothing to frown about. Mighty Blow is also extremely useful because it has a pretty damn big area of effect. I'm always surprised by how far back people actually get knocked down, and exactly that, people get knocked down. It is so useful going up to like 4 archers and using the skill, and they all fall down, and then you're able to just absolutely destroy them, especially paired with the passive skill that you do, I think, 30% more damage to knock down targets. So once you use Mighty Blow, they're pretty much dead. The first thing I do when I'm leveling up the Reaver is I go right for the Rampage skill. This skill is extremely important and pretty much utilized in every build of the Reaver. Now, what this is going to do is, the main thing is that it's going to heal you for 10% of your health for every single hit. Now, on top of this, you're actually going to be attacking faster, your speed is increased, and you get a 10% damage bonus, as if the healing wasn't good enough. Now, the first time I used this build, you can see me kind of going over what my skills were the first time I used this. I used Earth Shaking Strike. Now, this I actually found pretty useful, especially when paired with the upgrade to this, where enemies are hurt for damage over time. This actually was a pretty useful skill I found, simply because it extended the range of your Reaver. You're able to hit archers and stuff while you were kind of hiding behind a pillar, whereas before you'd have to simply charge out into their fire and often die. So with this ability, I really often found myself, using this ability, and then enemies would, by the time they got to me, they got through the area of effect, they got through the initial damage, they were substantially weaker than if I would have had a different skill set. This was definitely my more conservative build. You have Devour, you have Rampage, Mighty Blow, and Earth Shaking Strike. These are all very good skills. Rampage for when you need it, but the rest of the time you can kind of survive without it using your extremely powerful two-handed weapon skills. Now, the second time I used this character after promoting it, I decided to go the route of the Torrent of Pain, Devour, and Dragon Rage combination. Now, these skills all work together. Like Dragon Rage does 50% more damage if you're in Torrent of Pain. You can upgrade Devour so that if you use Devour, you get like a 25% better chance to cause criticals for your Dragon Rage, and so on and so forth. And the damage output of these skills working together was unbelievable. You can see from the gameplay, and this is all threatening gameplay, I just go and I take out like, I'll take out 5 guys so fast, my other teammates are just like, what the hell happened? Dragon Rage is so powerful. It does 200%, if you upgrade it, 200% weapon damage, and you attack faster than you can with your normal two-handed weapon. So it just is so much. You are not surprised. You'll see that sometimes when I do the double Dragon Rage strike and 2 numbers will come up, they'll both be in the thousands. You're doing 2,000 damage with a skill that attacks that fast. Now, that skill, for that much damage, it has to have some sort of drawback, and that drawback is that it doesn't cost any stamina, but it costs 2% of your health on every successful hit. By itself, not that great, and that's why I ignored it the first time. But if you simply pair it with Rampage, you Rampage, then you start Dragon Raging, your Dragon Rage strikes will count as hitting a guy when your Rampage is on, so you'll be gaining 10% but losing 2% for a net gain of 8% for every strike. So you'll see that I just run up, Rampage, and then start Dragon Raging and just kill everyone while healing myself. If that wasn't enough, you'll also see me try to put down Torrent of Pain for an extra 50% weapon damage. That's 250% weapon damage with my Dragon Rage strikes, and Dragon Rage upgrade also decreases your cooldown of your skills by 2 seconds on every successful hit. So if you want damage output, oh my goodness, the Dragon Rage Torrent of Pain Devour Reaver is unstoppable. This guy is so powerful. He takes down bosses by himself. He's so good. However, he is the definition of a glass cannon. There's so many factors here, rampaging first, then dragon striking, then also getting the Torrent of Pain down. You can go wrong very easily. Sometimes there's actually a glitch where sometimes your rampage just doesn't even work, so you don't heal yourself. You'll rampage, you'll run in there, you'll start dragon raging, and then you'll suddenly notice, wait a minute, I'm not gaining any health. By the time you've noticed that, you're probably dead, and that is a huge downside to this character. Also, even though Rampage regenerates pretty darn fast for how powerful it isn't the greatest, and you're often going to be waiting for your Rampage to recharge. And if enemies are like spaced apart a certain way, you can actually run out of your Rampage. Like, Rampage only lasts for 10 seconds, so you got to be fast. So if you still have 2 enemies to kill by the time your Rampage ends, you're no longer going to be gaining health with Dragon Striking, so you're actually going to be losing health, and that can put you in a very dangerous scenario. So you really have to focus on killing the most powerful threatening enemies first before your Rampage runs out. Now, for passive abilities for both these classes, just go for anything that increases damage or stamina. Those are always good. Like, some of my favorites are, one is Fervor. That is pretty much essential. If an enemy dies near you, you're going to be doing 30% more damage. That's unreal. There's one that increases your chance to do a critical hit by 1% for every hit until you actually do a critical hit, then it resets. That one is pretty nice too. And there's also some that feature stamina regeneration based on how much health you've lost. These are actually pretty good, and just again, more stamina is just going to allow you to do more of your skills. So I would say stamina and damage output are very important, and the rest is up to you. Now, both classes, firstly, the more conservative classes using kind of the best skills in both of the skill trees, and the Dragon Rage Rampage class are very, very good, and you can easily run threatening difficulty with either of these classes. The Dragon Rage class, I have to say, is simply my favorite class just because the damage output is so unreal. However, be aware that you have to be on your shit, you have to get all your skills down, and things can go wrong. Not even necessarily your fault. It's nothing more frustrating when you put on Rampage and it just doesn't work and you die. Nothing you did was wrong. It's just the game not recognizing that I guess you're supposed to be gaining health. That is extremely frustrating, and if you don't want to deal with that, go the more conservative route. But once you see that damage output, you cannot go back. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a good day.